For those people that are new to the channel, please check out mattschainsawparts.com. Um, this is a whole lot more fun if you watch live rather than if you watch later, but you're welcome to watch either way. Kind of the whole point of doing these live videos is that I get a kick out of them, and hopefully we all learn something during them. This is just a 200T teardown. Another in a series from my buddy Tracy. And so Tracy, yes, this is the last one I think that we'll do out of the set. I've got it somewhat torn down here, but let's take it the rest of the way down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up YouTube here so I can see you guys and see what people are chatting. And I realize it's nearly 10 o'clock on a Friday, so who's going to be here? That's fine, but if I can see you guys chatting, then I can hopefully respond in real time. Hey, boss. Welcome. And we have an unboxing to do. Also from Tracy, but that's beside the point. Okay, so yeah, I'm still waiting in parts on this. So we're not going to get this all the way back, but today, we'll see how far we go, you know. Tear it down, clean it up, let's see. So I've got this down, you know, you just kind of start removing bolts. You know, see what shows up on these, you know. But right about now, starters off, top handles off. Next thing you probably want to get rid of is the gas tank. But in order to do that, you got to pull off the rubber here. And the way to do that is pull the cover off, and that's not easy. It's not hard either. A couple of screwdrivers in here. Bigger screwdrivers are more useful sometimes. It has a smaller part at the end, Harry. Yeah. I'll show you. Again, I was going to produce that tool, but there was just no interest. You know what I mean? There, moved. Okay. That thing is like, it kind of gets trapped on the lower side here for some reason. I do wish they did this at least a little bit differently. But keep in mind, these pieces are actually quite robust. I'm not sure I've ever broken one, even though I've been pretty rough with them. And it's just a holder to hold the intake boot on. Yeah, Harry, I'll get to it. That's coming. Don't worry. There we go. Got the back sides up. They go on much easier. Take them off. Maka, what's going on? Welcome. Pete's performance. Yeah, I'm not wearing scrubs this morning. Sorry. It's actually rare for me. Still in my pajamas, actually. Even though scrubs are off in my pajamas, too. So. Yeah, so we're just taking down a 200T, and I don't even know what the piston's like, but it looks good from this side. The question is, does it look good from the other side? Won't matter. This one's going all the way down here. Anyone else from Bucket's page? Could be. Leonard sometimes shows up. Call him Leonard Virtue is I call him our resident celebrity. And there's Bob. Good morning, Bob. Is it hot down there? Alright, so 4 screws for the gas tank. The gas tank is a little fiddly. Also, this impulse line doesn't help. And these are usually like all hard and whatnot. You just gotta I forgot. I gotta take off the flywheel. My bad. Impact. And what you do is you put the nut down, but not fully tight. Back it off a half a turn or so. And then you can whack this. Usually pick it up. I seem to lose my. I have a really small Wonder Bar. I seem to misplace it. You can hear when the sound changes. Not that high, nice drop in temp. Nice. What's the small part exactly for? Harry, I'll show you. We're going to get there. We are going to get there. You need to clean that up? Probably. Let me go throw these in the ultrasonic, and I'll be back. Mixed Mowers, welcome. We're just doing a 200T here, just a crankcase. Much smaller than you usually deal with. And this is tiny. I mean, this is tiny chainsaw. And sometimes you gotta crack them. Yikes. These go on tight. Okay, that one's a little low there. Yeah, so this is all about. All about a 200T teardown here. this guy, I'm going to put new bearings in because this felt a little wobbly to me. Although the piston looks perfect. Put new rings in it. The piston looks perfect, so which is great. Let's put new rings in it. I'll put new bearings and new seals. That way it's good. Alright. Yeah, the piston looks good, especially if there's not lots of wear on the piston. Just put new rings in it. Which I happen to have. So these are all T27 Torx, and then the head comes right off. Yep. 4 head screws. Reasonably carboned up cylinder, but not bad looking. Always put new plugs in these. You get a clear table working. Good. Part of the objective here is ambition. If I can drive some ambition into you guys, then I've done my job. And I feel better about things, you know? Alright, so I'm going to go put these in the ultrasonic. Here's a method here. Okay. Alright. Now is the meat and potatoes. So what I'm looking for here is machine marks. How are we doing? There's just not lots of wear on this piston. So I'm going to leave the piston alone, except put new rings in it just to make sure it gets good pop here. So I'm not going to pull the piston off. I'm just going to kind of clean it. Clean the top of the carbon. You don't need that on there. And okay. So oiler. Pull this off again. 2 T27 bolts here on the oiler. I'm going to pull this crankcase apart, put new bearings and seals. Which is what I recommend when you're doing teardowns like this. As a general rule, unless you're just trying to get somebody going. I have a tendency to think it's much better just to come at stuff from the perspective of doing full teardowns. How many times you want this saw on the bench ever again, right? Okay, and now the easiest way to do this here. Pull the coil off. Coil screws. Coil screws off, and these things do have washers on them, just to kind of delineate what they are. And the kill wire clicks out. But the ignition coil wire, you have to unscrew this whole thing. That's tight. That's loose. There. So this is kind of the only way to do this. You have to unscrew that. Get that cleaned, obviously. And now you can actually split the crankcase. Make sure your AV mount here is fine. It is okay. Hey Tim. Matthew Workshop. What is good porting numbers for a Husqvarna 350? On the 350s, I like somewhere around 105, 123, and 80. Jesus Casson, sell me a 200T. These are not mine to sell. The thing is, after a full rebuild is done, these things are worth quite a bit of money. They're quite hot, you know. They're still a really hot saw to own, a nice saw to use, and as you can see, they are maintainable. Just takes a little bit of work. Vintage Repairs. Yeah, I've been live for what, 20 minutes, guys? The notifications, at least for my channel, have sucked for a while. I don't know why. I'm not monetizing any of this, guys, just so everybody knows. I don't care. I just like hanging out with you guys. Sometimes you can just pop these apart. Yep. Pop. So this actually, the ignition coil wire comes through, you pull it through. There's your crank. Alright, so we got the seals and the bearings still left to go here. This rubber here. Watch this. It just peels because it's hard, you know. Yeah. This is part of the reason why doing a teardown is such an ideal thing to do, because you find all these little parts on here that are just itching to cause you a problem. Thanks, Tom. Thanks for forgive me, Tom. Thank you for reminding me. You probably have to remind me for a while. You could probably reuse that gasket, but I won't. All right. So now we have to figure out how to get the bearings out of here. Right? Right. Probably not going to touch the oil hose. You could. Nothing wrong with throwing a new one in. This one seems pretty simple and good. So the way, okay, a few things to do here. We've got these brass positioning pins. I like to tap these back to flush. Then you can actually place this here. It's flat. And now you can take your tool and remove the seals. So I've got a hook on a screwdriver an old screwdriver. Do not scratch the case. So if you scratch the case as you peel these out, not good. Now, I don't like the OEM seals unless you're doing a full rebuild. If you're doing a full rebuild, put the OEM seals in. That's fine. I don't got a problem with that. But if you're not doing a full rebuild, if you're not doing new bearings, then you might as well, and they can pop right in the face, obviously. If you're not doing a full rebuild, then use the 026 Pro flywheel side seals. Those will fit. They're rubber and metal as opposed to Bakelite. These just crack and break, and they're like $8 a piece. So it's much easier to use the 026 Pro seals if you're not doing bearings, if you're just doing seals. All right, now bearings. So what I do for these, I'm going to put a single screw in here. Just to hold the crankcases together. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the bearings in to the crankcase. That way, you can heat them up and tap them in, but I don't like that, because by the time you get this heated up well enough, the nylon doesn't like that, and then you start losing. These are roller bearings, so you start losing the rollers, and then you're gonna have a hell of a time getting them out. So I generally don't like that method. Enjoy dinner, Harry. Take care. All right, so. Oh, shoot, Harry, sorry. I'm just getting to the part for you, buddy. Here's the adapter. Harry, this is for you, buddy. Here's the adapter. Or the seal driver. I'm going to call it the seal driver. So this is the, my brother actually made for me, but it's just a piece of brass, and the seal driver actually goes just inside. It captures the seal and allows a 5/6. So you have the taper, and then you have the land pushes the seal home. But it does it very evenly, and the nice thing is the longer the tool, the more error you can have and still have it be straight. So if you have a really short tool here and it's off by a little bit, it's actually off by a lot. If you have a long tool and you're off by a little bit, it's not off by that much, angle-wise. Okay, so so I can't use this to push bearings. Oh, there goes Christopher. Hang on. All I gotta do, some washers. Always nice to have a really good assortment of washers, and threaded rod and whatnot. It helps in such a huge way. Okay, so let's do that. That'll do. So there is actually a land in here for the seal to stop on. You've got to have a socket that's just smaller than that, because when you tap in the seal will stop. So you have to have a socket that's just a little bit smaller. That's all. Am I going to sell the seal tool? No. As of right now, no. I've had over the years, I introduced this tool years ago, and there's been like 5 people ever that's actually inquired about it. So it's just not worth it to produce. I'd love to produce it, but I think it'd be great, a great product. But there's just no interest. Okay, so socket, washer, nut, threaded rod, or this is a carriage bolt. I got a big washer on the other side. And you can already see the bearings coming through. It'd be nice to do this with an impact, with an ultra deep socket, but whatever. Am I making sense so far, guys? So that's one. Don't need any heat, don't need to wait, nothing. Just pull it right in. There's your bearing. Boom. Flip it around. Just a piece of 5/16. This is a 5/16 carriage bolt. I use the same carriage bolts for my crank tools, for handles, for the crank tools. So it happens to be nice and convenient that I have it, but always nice to have a nice assortment of washers and whatnot. That way sometimes you can make adapters and things, and it just makes life easier. And I love my gear wrenches. I really do. I've absolutely fallen in love with these things. There you go. problem is over here, it just wants to slip. There isn't a good way to hold it either from slipping. It'd be better to not have a carriage bolt. It'd be better to have an actual like 5/16 bolt. Doesn't have to be held huge, just has to be held a little. If you had a nut on the other side or a bolt, you'd be better, but it doesn't matter. Bearing's already out. Am I going to get this back together? I don't know. I got to clean it up here and see how it cleans up. And depends if you guys want to hang around for that. I'm going to go clean up the crankcases right now. If they clean up pretty quick, then yeah, I would put some new bearings in. Seals. Not going to get a pop today because I'm waiting on quite a bit of parts actually, but probably get some seals and bearings in here. Let me go clean these up, see where we end up. Yeah, those things need to go through the ultrasonic for a cycle, so I'm not going to get that back together today. Matt, is there any reason you haven't used Durco instead of 11E4? No. It depends on what's more readily available, I guess. I've just bought, ever since Walt started using it, or showed, introduced me to it effectively, and I just kept using that. You certainly could use Durco. Durco is the stihl stuff. So So nothing really wrong with that. Yeah, basically you're pushing the bearings into the center of the case. You're kind of using the case itself as a washer, more or less. I might as well throw all the rest of this stuff in the ultrasonic too. So we won't need this the rest of today, but we can put some rings. Let's get this crank cleaned up here. Easy way to clean off your bench. So let's do... So I could certainly change the piston out, but it's not really that worn, so not that worried about it. A little bit of Scotch-Brite. Piston still looks good. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. And I happen to have new rings. Off. Gold ring. Ring. There we go. So now this whole assembly's pretty clean. And let's see if we've got... I know I've got rings here. Steel rings. Cabers would be fine too. It says E and 1KA on the top one, and 1K on the other one. Okay. Chainsaw Girl, I don't know about that. There are guys that have a whole lot more experience with this than me. I just have a little bit of ambition and don't mind sharing with you guys. You know what I mean? Alright. So the ring pins are at the top of the land, not the bottom. So you want The ring effectively look basically upside down. Bottom ring is on. Later, guys. Later, Tim. Ice maker line out for 4 days. Oh. Sorry, man. Tim, thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it. One other thing I'm going to do today is do the unboxing and see what we got in this box, which I think you guys are going to like, because it is something new, more or less. Circlips are in there and they're fine. Don't touch them. So now what I'll do, get that with something, just so you got some oil on it. I know, I get never-ending crap about the WD-40. Now it's in a plastic bag. Gonna stay oiled, nice and clean, and when the parts come out of the ultrasonic, it'll be ready to go. I do have a bit of a surprise. It's a box from Tracy, and it's not 200 Ts. But I believe both of these are new to the channel. Take in the fridge. Get ready for the champagne. That's what I would do. Got the champagne. And the thing is, I really want to get these 200 Ts done before I start on a new project here, but we can certainly look at the box to see what it is. Quickly roll these things out here. Clean them. The impulse line. You know what I'm going to do? Right now I'm going to cut a new piece to length. That way I've got it. Don't forget it. And this is steel. I use R5. I use R5 instead of R3. R5 is intended for impulse line. I don't know why they use R3. R3 is intended for gas line, but whatever. Put that down in there. All you have is bourbon. Okay. Then you, sir, are not nearly as sophisticated as you need to be. I don't know. I'm not a bourbon guy. I've had it. I have a friend that has an astronomical amount of it. Doesn't really do it for me. All of a sudden it's lagging. Actually, not true. I saw a guy the other day on on YouTube. He had a vault somewhere in Oklahoma with like $7 million worth of brown alcohol. and with the, I think with the exception of 3 bottles, it's like 6,500 bottles. And with the exception of 3 bottles, he had tasted every single one. That was pretty amazing. Hang on one second, guys. All right. Gonna open a box. It's kind of a big box. Not sure whether I'm excited or scared here. Okay. First thing you're going to notice, this is not an orange saw. Oh God. Tracy, what did you do to me? Look at this thing. Missing bolts, missing all kinds of, oh man. AV mounts. The word used doesn't quite cut it here. And it has one of the dreaded auto decomps. It's 2 things that kill this saw. The auto decomp starts leaking, and it has the plastic clamp around the intake. So this is equivalent, this is a 2156, I think. So this is the equivalent of a 357 XP, which as it turns out is a gorgeous saw. However, and these are worth good money if you get them working right. Yeah, we can complain a lot about the ratty saw thing. Golly. All right. That's not it, though, folks. That's not the big one. There's a big one in here. I wonder if Bob can guess. It's a big one. And supposedly this one runs. I'm not going to start this one. Not today, because I begged Tracy not to start it. Because when you have this, I mean, this saw, okay, what's the year on it? 2002? 2002. 2002. Basically, it's a 20-year-old sub. And if this has never had the seals done, then you gotta get in there and do the damn seals. Otherwise, you're gonna cook it. And you can't get parts for these things. Throttle's all nice and sticky. How does the throttle even work? On-off switch here. Choke. I don't even know how the choke works. Okay, choke poke in and out. It looks like you lift up. It's not. It's in and out. Okay. Decomp. At least this one's more complete. So maybe just tear it down, put new bearings and seals in it, new rubber bits, maybe new rings or something. A little bit of melting on the muffler here. Once it starts melting, you're in trouble. So it's probably missing something. There might be a rubber. If you look at the front where it's melting, there's probably a rubber piece under there that it's missing. Yeah, because the more you run these things, the more likelihood that you're gonna run into a problem, and you can't get parts. So you start it, and one of the seals opens up. Yeah. Pretty clean internally, though. Cleaner than your saws, Bob. Tillotson carburetor. Yeah, this is very different in a boot. Does it have a boot? Does it actually have a boot? It looks like it has an intake boot instead of a block. Interesting. All right, so one day I could use like a new. The throttle's actually rubbing on like the fuel line here. That's not good. Looks like somebody has a tank vent in here. Almost looks like a steel vent. Interesting. Yeah, looks like a tank vent almost out of a steel. Very similar. Yeah, the reason the throttle's sticking is because there's the actual. Can I pull that fuel line up a little bit and get the throttle to not stick? I'm just curious. Because it's going to rub a hole in the fuel line. Show you guys. If I can. Bring it right over here. Oh, that's hot. Hang on a second. Need some light. See? Boom. It's literally rubbing on that fuel line. Okay. Yeah, looks like there's a boot in there. I've never taken one of these apart, so it'll be an adventure. So, I'm going to call it a day. Yeah, Tom, that'd be great. Thank you. Yep, I'll have a look. Bob, yeah. So just so everybody knows, my favorite tuning video, and the reason I have not made one, um, my favorite tuning video is actually Mitch Weber, Mweba. He made a video a long time ago, and he's got a old Poulon or something like that that he uses in the video, and it illustrates the tuning very, very well. And after I saw that, there was just no point in me making one. Tom, you may not be able to post a link here if you're not a moderator. Is it posted up on OPE? Thanks, Bob, for posting my email. For anybody that wants Matteo 288 high top covers, they're on MassChainsawParts.com or on eBay. eBay makes it simple, but I don't think I've had a sale yet on the MassChainsawParts.com, so I'm kind of curious. But yeah, I've got high top covers for sale, and very exciting on that. And that's it. I think we'll call it a day. So appreciate everybody hanging out. We will get to these. I want to finish with the 200s first, and then we're going to start tearing these down and see how they go. So, kind of curious to see what's up here. So, hope everybody has a great day, and we will talk to you guys later. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.